Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Systems and Workflow Magic YouTube channel and podcast. I am your host, Dolly DeLong. I'm so glad you're here. Now, if you are joining us on YouTube, if you're watching in, you've noticed that I have a very special guest with me. And I know technically when this episode airs, we are in the middle of summer, but I say 'tis the season to start thinking about your Christmas minis and how to better market them and how to better prepare for your Christmas mini. So who better to interview than Santa himself? So before I begin, do you mind introducing yourself to my audience, Santa Scott, and letting everyone know who you are, what you do, and just like what brought you to this role?
Sure, no problem. Hi guys, it's Santa Scott here. I've been portraying Santa, or have become Santa, let's put it that way, over this year makes 51 years that I've been doing this. It all started, 51 years ago. I was a 16-year-old guy working in a grocery store, and one of the ladies come in that we all knew. We went to high school with her oldest daughter, and we looked at her and we were like, "You seem angry today." And she just kind of looked at us and she said, "I am." Amanda's kindergarten teacher told her there was no such thing as Santa Claus. She said, if I could find somebody to put on a suit, I would go get one. And my buddy went, "Scott will do it." I'm like, what? What? Long story short, she showed up 2 hours later at the grocery store with a Santa suit, with her address, and said, "Show up when you get off work." So at 16 years old, I got dressed at work. I went to this house. Now, granted, 51 years ago, different time.
Yeah.
I knocked on the door and I heard Miss Hughes say, "Amanda, ask who it is. And if you know who it is, let him in." And I heard this little voice, little 5-year-old, cute little voice say, "Who is it?" And I said, "Amanda, it's Santa Claus. I understand your kindergarten teacher doesn't believe in me." She ripped open that door with the biggest smile and said, "But I do." And that's where it started. 51 years ago, I was asked to be Santa to someone. And literally, it changed my life. I was Santa for that family only for like the next 5 years. And then it was just whoever needed a Santa. I was like, yeah, I'll do it for a cup of coffee. I'm good, and that's where it all started.
Wow. I heard a little bit about your story when you and I first met last year for our Santa Minis, but I didn't know that full story. That is so sweet. Are you still in contact with that little girl?
That little girl is now a grandmother, and I have played Santa Claus for her grandkids.
Oh my gosh.
It's kind of a full circle.
Oh, I love that. So that is so sweet. That's just such a full circle happy moment right there. So
It is. It is.
well, thank you so much for sharing a little bit about who you are and like what brought you to this role. And that kind of answers my first question. So my second question for you, because we're gonna get into this, because like my viewers, my listeners, you all know I love to have like systems and strategy for you all to help you out. But I wanted to do something very unique and different with this episode and really get you guys not only in the holiday spirit, but also more of marketing your holiday minis. And again, I know that Santa Scott has literally 51 years of experience, and he has experience working with so many different family photographers. So when this episode airs, while you're watching this, I know it's in the middle of June, end of June. So I want you all to think about timeline. So from your perspective, Santa Scott, when should family photographers start planning and booking their Santa mini sessions for the holiday season?
Honestly, right now is the perfect time. I mean, July, a great time to get things started, put your processes in place, think about what you're going to do. But, of course, the first thing is find a Santa. And unfortunately, that takes some time. I have photographers that I work with now that literally it's taken 2 to 3 years before we were able to book some time together and start working together.
That's very true. Do you have any perspective or insight as to how a photographer can go about finding a trusted Santa Claus?
Most definitely. Not to kind of throw a plug out there or whatever, but I belong to a Facebook group here in town. It's called the Middle Tennessee Santa Family. So are you ready for this? there are over 250 Santas in the Middle Tennessee area.
Wow.
So there's plenty out there. But how do you find the one that's good, that you want to work with? Ask those questions. Talk to your other photographers and say, hey, who are you using? Can you recommend anybody? You might not be able to get them right away, but at least you've made that first contact.
That's really good. That kind of leads me into my next question is like, are they like, you kind of answered what should a family photographer look for when hiring a Santa for minis?
Mhm.
And then going into that, like, are there any red flags or green flags that they should pay attention to?
Definitely. Definitely. When you're looking for a Santa, honestly, find one and check out their track record, so to speak. Make sure they're reliable and they're dependable. The worst thing for me and I have a bad habit of this, I tend to overbook a little bit. And there was a couple times last year that I was actually 5 minutes late and it was killing me because I want to be early. So find that Santa who's reliable and dependable. Other things to look for. Ask those questions if they've been to Santa school. And believe it or not, that is a real thing. There are several Santa schools throughout the country. I'm very, very lucky. I've done a couple of online classes with some big companies that teach this art of how to be Santa. So I've got that. And then that group that I'm part of on Facebook, we do a professional development weekend 2 or 3 times a year to where we're learning. And so you want to ask if they've had any kind of professional training, which is always a good start. And then, like I said, just check their track record, word of mouth.
I like that. I like that a lot. And that's very true. How I found you on, I'm trying to think of how I found you. I found you on Instagram based off of another person posting about you. And I really liked just like how, like, even through the photos, I could tell you made the little kids and your clients feel so happy and excited and joyful. And I was like, I have to work with him. Like, I really need to work with this man. So yeah, I was like, I'm trying to reflect how I found you. It was just through another local photographer who had tagged you. And I saw that you had a social media presence. I saw that you had online presence and that you were communicative, and you are very communicative. So I got all the green flags for you, Santa Scott.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, you want to find somebody that you can work with, that you can talk to. This might come later on as a question, but one of the things that I learned at one of the schools I went to was very, very simple. As a Santa, who do I work for? Well, I mean, that's a great question. Who do I work for? Well, I work for the photographer. You're probably the one who hired me, so I need to make sure we can work together. I work for the families, for the parents, because they're coming into this with some expectations, of I want my child to have a great experience. Okay, if they cry, they cry.
Yeah.
But I want to have a great experience with my child. And then I work for the children. So, you're working for everybody. And that's why you need to have a team that's going to take care of those things for you.
Those are all really good insights. So that leads me perfectly to my next question. Like, from from your perspective of playing Santa, being Santa, what makes a Santa holiday session setup work very well versus making things feel chaotic and rushed and just totally, it's a chaotic day? Like, have you experienced both? I know if you've experienced a well set up session because of all the photographers you work with, but from your perspective, what are some things that family photographers should avoid so it won't be chaotic and rushed and absolutely just like hectic?
Very simple. Have a plan.
Okay.
Go back to what we just talked about. Now's the perfect time. Find that Santa. Start building your processes. Okay, what does my setup look like this year? I work with a photographer. This is year number 9 with this one photographer. And every year in July, she sends me pictures of what her setup is going to be like.
Wow.
That way you've got it in place, So little things like that, being prepared for things that you can control. And then also being prepared for things you can't control, because it's going to happen. I promise you it's going to happen. You know,
Yes.
so just having those processes in place.
Gotcha. And we'll get into those processes, like listeners and viewers, at the very end. I have something for you all, but that is like such a good like systems tip from Santa Claus himself. So listen to that, viewers. Okay, my next question for you is how much time per family do you recommend photographers build into their schedule so that Santa can actually connect with the children, with the clients, and get those photos? Because like I know some photographers do like 5-minute sessions, 10-minute sessions, 15, and so it varies. But what is that sweet spot that you, from your experience?
That sweet spot, that perfect time is 10 to 15 minutes.
Okay.
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 I've worked photographers that are like, hey, we're going to do 5-minute sessions and I've got you for 2 hours and there's no break.
Oh boy.
And you just, and you've worked with me, Dolly, you know,
Yeah.
I'm going to do it and I'm not going to complain and we're going to
Yeah.
have fun and we're going to get those pictures.
Yes.
But that's rough. That
It
takes
is.
a lot out of you. I've got this one photographer. I love her thought process behind this. This is that same one that sends me the setup
Yes.
every year. She started this about 5 years ago. We were doing 10-minute sessions. And 10-minute sessions are really, really good. It gives you enough time to kind of get some things going, have those shots, those planned shots that you want to get, but also be able to interact and pull some magic out of your hat, so to speak. So 10 minutes is great. But here's what she did. Because when the families are larger, she offers a 10-minute session and then she offers a 20-minute session. So the family can decide what's going to be best with them. And she gives them that information. It's probably best if you've got a large family, go ahead and book a 20-minute session.
Yeah.
It'll give you plenty of time. So that really, really helps out the situation. And from Santa's point of view, every hour, if you can plan a 10-minute break every hour, that's perfect. Now, a lot of times we don't get those 10-minute breaks because we're catching up because we've gotten behind a little bit.
Yes.
So that kind of helps and just kind of breaks the day up. I'm with her. I do 2 8-hour days, Saturday
Wow.
and Sunday, and just it's solid. Believe me.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about. In her days that are very well structured and like I love the outcome, like everything she puts. And so, yeah, you guys work really well as a team together and I've always enjoyed looking at those photos afterwards. What would you say are some of the biggest mistakes you've seen family photographers make when running Christmas holiday sessions with Santa?
Not being planned. Not having a plan in place, not having people to help you.
Oh, that's a
Because you're
good
the
one.
photographer, you can't do it all.
Mhm.
Santa can't do it all, even though we try, but we can't do it all. So having someone to help. I mean, the one photographer that I work with, she has somebody in the front
Mhm.
when you come in. So you've got somebody checking them in. She has somebody who brings them back to the photo room and introduces the children. That way Santa knows who we're talking to and all. Just little things like that. Having a team to help you really, really makes a great day. Being rushed.
Mhm.
That's just those 5-minute sessions, they can work, but they're hard. And
Yeah.
as a photographer, being open to work with Santa. Okay.
Mm.
Last year, this was the first time I worked with this photographer and the sessions turned out wonderful. But when I asked her about her workflow and what her thought process was, she came to me and said, okay, here's what we're going to do. Because we know some children are scared of Santa. So we're going to hide you to begin with. And then we'll bring you out. And that just kind of, I'm like, wait a minute. So I talked to her and I told her, I said, look, as a parent, you're probably working with your child, getting them ready for that big day. And if you've got Santa hid, they're going to walk in and they're like, where is he?
What? Yeah.
Where is he? Have Santa be there. Okay. Be open to that. She looked at me and she was like, okay, we'll run the first couple sessions your way. After the second session, she was like, no problem. You got this. And then she realized, she goes, my job's just to take pictures.
Yeah, that's so good. Like, it's good insight because of your experience and knowing, like, okay, if I hid and then I come out, it's going to scare the child. And so that is literally going into my next question. Like,
We're in sync.
yeah, we are in sync. We are like, we're vibing, which I love. I always know, and I always have a child who shows up, who cries, they're scared, and that's normal. That's normal child behavior. But what are your go-to strategies for helping a nervous child warm up? And what do you recommend the family photographer do to support that process or to be prepared for that process?
Good question. So as Santa, you've got to read the room.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If that child comes in and is scared, listen, years ago, before I started doing a lot of family sessions, I was doing home visits, right?
Mm-hmm.
I went to this one home and I had just met the parents like a couple days before. And when I walked in, the child just started screaming. And parents were like, here, they're yours. Take them. And I'm just like, okay, well, hold on. Let's do this. I said, go get me some toys. And they were like, I said, yeah, go get me some of her toys and just bring them in and put them in the middle of the floor. Came in. I walked over and sat down right in the middle of the floor and started playing with the toys. I wasn't even paying attention to that little child. I'm playing with the toys. Before you knew it, she had crawled up in my lap and played with me. So we turned that situation around. So being able to read the room. There's also, I have several props that I use as well. Okay. It's to try to break the ice, try to lighten the mood and to elicit a response. So I got little things. I could show you an example. I've got one right here.
I would love that.
So this is something special. This is how I judge Christmas spirit. And this is made by the elves of Emos, elf-made objects for Santa. Okay. So what I tell a child, I'm like, okay, in the North Pole, it's like really, really cold. So what I need you to do is I need you to clap your hands together 3 times and then rub them together and get them nice and warm. And while they're doing that, I'm looking and we're like, okay, here we go. And they're just kind of like, amazed. And I'll pull this out and I'm like, all right, so this is how we're going to judge your Christmas spirit. Grab hold of this ball with both hands and look at that. You've got Christmas spirit. And before you know it, that child is right over there ready to go. Now, there's our other things as well. And this is where the photographer comes in to be open for this type of thing. If I see that a child is not calming down at all, I will excuse myself. I will get up and I'm like, if y'all can give me a few minutes, I need to go feed the reindeer. And I'll go hide. Okay. The photographer turns around and she's like, okay, let's just get some photos of the family and take care of this. And they a lot of times they'll position the couch a certain way. And then when need be, I can sneak back in and I'm behind the couch watching the session. And I'm like, so little things like that. And then we can just ease into it once they realize they're okay.
I love that.
Read the room. Read the room.
Read the room. I love that. That's really good advice. That's good advice for everybody in life.
Yes.
Read the room. I love that. Okay, so what does the business side look like for hiring a Santa? Because I know there should be a lot of baked in prices. Should photographers expect a flat rate, hourly, or per session fee? And how far in advance should they lock in their booking?
I love it. I've learned a lot over the years, and the first years that I started working as a Santa photography session, I was stupid. Okay, bottom line, I didn't know what I was doing, and I was like, okay, I will work for 25% of what you make. After a couple years of that, I realized that was not feasible for anybody.
Yeah.
So I literally charge by the hour.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If I have to drive more than 35 miles from my home location, not the North Pole, I do require a minimum of 2 hours. That way I make sure I'm making my money off that. And it's also very, very economical. There's a company that I use. It's called Gig Salad. Okay. Gig Salad is a booking company for all kinds of things. Bands for parties, Santa Claus, that type of thing. And You set your rate. But through Gig Salad, you're able to look at what other Santas are charging as well. So go to Gig Salad, Middle Tennessee Santa Clauses, and it'll pull up several of them and you can see what the going rate is.
Wow.
Right now, the going rate for Santas is approximately $225 an hour. I charge nowhere near that.
I think you should personally, but
I appreciate that, but I've always been under the idea that, okay, just because you can pay that much, that's great.
yeah,
But there are families who can't pay that amount and still deserve that top notch. You want to give them that Christmas magic.
magic. Yeah. Well, that's very noble of you. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that insight. And I want to encourage viewers and listeners, this is something that you have to consider if you do a mini session. You also need to consider the studio cost. If you are renting out a studio, how much is it going to be per hour? How much is it's going to cost to pay your Santa per hour? Also, any, I don't know, decorations or supplies you may need, rentals, lighting equipment, your assistant. So I really want you can still make money, be profitable from your Santa minis, but you do have to consider all of these costs in addition to what systems you're going to need to set up in order to have a really professional and successful Santa holiday mini session experience. So I know it's my last question I have for you is, if a family photographer is listening and watching this episode and they're thinking, okay, I want to add Santa minis to my holiday rotation this year. I want to try it out. What are your first 3 action steps that you would recommend to take today, right away?
Sure. Lock in your Santa. Find a Santa first. Have that conversation. Talk to them. Feel them out on, can you work together with this Santa? It's because a Santa and his photographer is a very, very personal thing. It truly is. You have to trust this person that as a Santa, I have to trust my photographer to know that they're going to get the best there is. You need to trust Santa that he's going to be the best he is. So lock in your Santa, have that conversation with them. Processes. Listen, guys, go ahead and build everything you think you need right now into your plan. All right. What is my setup going to look like? How long am I going to run these sessions? What will they include? How many photos are you giving? How many, that type thing. So make sure you have your process in place now before you even open it up. And then once you've got everything there, open up your booking window and start booking. I work with several photographers that will do a Christmas in July special and open up. And one photographer in general, she does 3 days Santas. Very, very high-end photographer. Very, very worth every penny she charges. There is no doubt. But she sends me a message every year right before she starts booking in July. And then an hour later, she's like, okay, all 3 days are
I love it.
sold out. So having that process in place, making sure you're good. Then I have other Santas who wait to that last minute, or photographers who wait to that last minute. I've got a good friend that's a wedding photographer, and I've always wanted to do Santa sessions with her. And 2 years ago, we were able to pull it off. But she ended up, because she waited so late, didn't have her process in place. She only had 2 clients, and I worked with her because I love her to death,
Yeah.
But so lock in your Santa, build your process, and then be ready to open up your booking window.
I love
Those
it.
are the 3 things I think.
That's all really good advice. And I'll let you all in on a secret. So I have been building out a Santa mini session marketing playbook to help other family photographers and photographers who are wanting just these systems and processes set up. And so if family photographer, if you're watching this, it is available in my shop now. And it comes with, I'll tell you everything it comes with. I have the list here, so I won't forget. But the Santa mini session marketing playbook will come with a pricing calculator that tells you exactly what to charge based off of your real costs. So your Santa, who you're working with, his overhead fee, your venue, your props, your assistants, your time. So you don't feel like you're guessing and playing that guessing game. It also comes with an 8-week pre-launch email sequence. So because I'm a firm believer in email marketing, you should be warming up your current audience before you even open the cart, and a cart open week email sequence covering day of booking week, including a same day last call email written intentionally short. So I give you all the emails that you would potentially need to market your Santa holiday minis. I am a big Dubsado user, so I also have given you a complete Dubsado setup SOP that walks you through building your entire booking workflow from scratch, including canned email templates and also that are written for you so you can plug and play in Dubsado, and also a landing page blueprint with visual mock-up so you know exactly what to put on your own landing page for your website, an SEO strategy for that landing page, and then client communication templates as well. So this will all be together, and I make it at it's going to be at an amazing price. So go check it out now. And if you are watching this YouTube video or listening to the podcast, there's also a special discount code in the notes. So be sure to check it out. And because I really want you as a family photographer to have your systems and processes in place to feel like you're ready for the fall, because you're not only doing holiday minis, you're also doing your regular fall mini sessions. And if you are a photographer who does weddings and other types of sessions, you have a lot on your plate. So I want you to be very well prepared in this case for your Santa minis. So go check it out in the show notes. But switching back to Santa Scott, thank you so much for your time and for sharing so much of your experience and your wisdom with my audience. Can you share with my audience how they can follow you, and if they are based in Middle Tennessee, how they can work with you?
Sure. Not a problem. I have an Instagram feed that I post on regularly. It's Santa_Scott_TN. That's my Instagram feed. I'm Santa Scott of Tennessee on Facebook. So I've got that social down. And then my website. Wow. I can't even remember my website address. How about that?
I'll put it in the show notes for everybody.
And then, of course, you can get a hold of me through email through Santa_Scott@comcast.net. But if you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask.
And you all, Santa Scott is very communicative and very kind, as you can tell through this interview. Very approachable. And it has been such an honor getting to interview you. Thank you so much for doing this with me. And until next time, viewers, listeners, have a streamlined and magical week. And I will talk to you all next week with a brand new episode. And remember, everything is going to be in the show notes. So be sure to grab all the links mentioned. Bye.
Bye.